All right. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Raina Matson. I'm the principal of Newport High. We also have Mr. Scarberry on. He's one of our assistant principals, and Lindsay DeVries, who is another one of our assistant principals and is also our athletic director. We also have a translator that will be on. I think he's on already, but will be available for the second session. So I just want to start by saying I miss kids so much. I miss seeing your students in school, and it has been wonderful having the limited in-person instruction and seeing and hearing student laughter in the hall again. We are moving to in-person instruction in April. And so tonight is about what that looks like, what some of the options are, you know, if you're not interested in that, and kind of a look about what our school is going to look like still in these COVID times. You are welcome to use the chat feature. If you want, we'll also have time at the end for some questions. So I think the first thing is change is the one constant we've had this year. Even this week, we've had new guidance that has come from the state. So it is happening frequently. We are doing the best that we can to stay on top of it and to communicate, but it has been really challenging. So thank you just for the patience that you've shown this year. Our term 3 is going to end April 9th. And for the students that are currently attending in person through the limited fashion, we're going to end that on Tuesday, April 6th. We're doing that so that we have 3 days to do some orientation activities. So we'll talk about what that looks like as well. But term 3 will end April 9th, and then we are starting term 4 April 12th until the end of the year, which is June 15th. And we will be doing that hybrid, just like our K-8 students are doing. So there will be a cohort A, which will be in person on starting April 12th. And we will have a cohort B that will start that Tuesday. So again, cohort A is that Monday, Thursday timeframe. Cohort B is Tuesday, Friday, and then there's 3 days a week that students are working from home. We are going to keep the same bell schedule. So nothing is going to change for students that stay in the hybrid setting. That's the same for our K. It'll be K-12 at that point, hybrid. And so our buses need to stay on the same schedule. We are going to make the assumption that every student is returning to in-person hybrid unless their parent or guardian fills out one of 2 forms. So either the comprehensive distance learning form that we'll talk about, which is a Google form that we'll release tonight after this meeting, or if a student is in the Edmentum program or is wanting to continue, you know, to go to the Edmentum program. Before we start talking about what hybrid will look like, I want to talk about the comprehensive distance learning option if the families choose to stay online. So what we are doing is we are partnering with all of the other high schools in Lincoln County to provide this option. So it could be that even though Newport is the home school, a student might take English from a teacher from Waldport or science from a teacher in Toledo. And we won't know exactly who those people are until we find out who wants to continue taking their term 4 classes online. So there will be that form that we will have for families that are interested. They will have limited options because we are going to be combining from all different schools, and every school has different options. But we will still be able to meet all of the graduation requirements. We'll have electives, some music options. So by combining, we're able to provide more opportunities than if Newport High alone was to just offer that CDL option. Because of that, bell schedules will be adjusted for this piece. They will be an hour long each period, and we will go over kind of all of the details during a separate parent meeting for those people that sign up for CDL. But students will take their 4 classes, And we had to adjust that bell schedule due to meeting all of the Fort area high school schedules. Case managers will stay with the homeschool. Essentially everything would still go to the homeschool except for this, if you have questions about a student grade, and that would go directly to the teacher. So for people that pick this option, there will be a parent meeting the week of the 5th, and we'll be working to get out schedules for people. So I'm going to show a video next about what some of the things might look like at Newport High starting in April.
Welcome back, Cubs. We're glad to have you back. We need to learn how to do it safely.
When you get to school, here's how you enter. Enter your assigned door. They will be mailed to students. Complete self-screening at home. Use hand sanitizer. Stay 6 feet apart. Head directly to class. Masks, face coverings must be worn. There are no lockers this year. Only bring what you need.
Know the symptoms of the coronavirus. Use this helpful guide for when to stay home. Stay home if you are sick and log on to your classes virtually if you are able. Have you or anyone in your home or community living space been diagnosed with COVID-19, tested and are waiting for results of COVID-19? Been in close contact 6 feet or closer for at least 15 minutes with anyone diagnosed with COVID-19? Been asked to self-isolate or quarantine by a medical professional or a local public health? In the past 72 hours, have you or anyone in your home or community living space had any of these primary symptoms of concern? A new persistent cough illness, unless it's chronic, fever of 100.4 or greater, a sudden onset of loss of taste or smell, chills, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, again, unless it's chronic.
When walking in the building, all halls are one way before and after school and during passing periods. Follow the arrows on the floor. If you are in the hallway during class, please stay on the right side of the hall. Masks must be worn at all times. Maintain social distancing by staying 6 feet apart.
Each teacher will review the classroom procedures with you. When you enter the classroom, use hand sanitizer and go directly to your desk. Stay at your desk unless directed by the teacher. At the end of class, the teacher will direct you to sanitize your desk before leaving the classroom.
Only one student may leave the classroom at a time. Students should use the nearest bathroom. All bathrooms are single use. Wait your turn or move to the next bathroom.
Newport High School is a closed campus for the school year. That means once you arrive on campus, you are here until your last class is complete. School breakfast and lunch will be provided free of charge to all students. Breakfast and lunch will be eaten in their respective classrooms. Students may bring their own breakfast and lunch. Following all safety protocols, no visitors or deliveries are allowed. Parents are not allowed to deliver food to the school. Students may order school lunch during breakfast. If students arrive late, they will order lunch at check-in. Only drinks in reusable containers with a secure lid will be allowed. Students are encouraged to bring their own water bottles. Face coverings can be removed to eat or drink when students are sitting at their own desk or table. All students will sanitize their hands before they eat. You may not share food or drinks.
All right, Cubs, you've seen the video. Now you know how to do it safely. We look forward to getting you back here as soon as possible.
All right, so now we're going to just go through a bunch of different kind of safety protocols and kind of explain what things look like. Transportation arrival in the morning is between 8:40 and 8:55 a.m. Class starts at 9 o'clock, so we need students in before. Bus area is listed there. It's off the side of our main campus, and then the bus pickup area is in front of West Campus. During school, we are putting up the barricades, so it's really important to kind of know your morning routines as far as dropping off and picking up. If you If you need to ride the school bus, we have that information from August. We need to know if that's changed at all, any kind of address changes, or if you don't need transportation anymore, or if you do. And we will put in all of the requests for busing, and then the bus first student will contact families directly to share pickup and drop off times. So when students arrive to enter into the building, they're going to come in on either East or West Campus main doors, and this will be based on where their first class of the day is. Staff will greet students at the door and do a visual check to make sure students are not experiencing any symptoms and that they have their mask on. Based on the Ready School Safe Learners guidance, high school students are able to self-screen at home before they come. We ask them to do that, but we also do have staff members there that will be going through that protocol. We ask that the students give a thumbs up if they've pre-screened at home and have no COVID symptoms. Otherwise, we'll start our process to have our school health assistant work with the student. We ask students to sanitize your hands when you enter. We do have foot pumps. And a lot of people don't notice that at the beginning, so we're reminding students to use that. Wear your mask, maintain 6 feet distance, and then continue to class. And all of our halls are one way during the time when multiple students would be in the hall, and so following those one-way halls is important. This is information that we'll go over with students, but just making sure that students have a mask that covers their nose and mouth, is snug to the face. It needs to be 2-ply, so no gaiters unless it has that second layer built in. And they need to be worn at all times on campus. And we will have masks available if a student forgets one or needs to use one. So we have some of those at each of our entrances. This is the main thing that we're looking for. These are the signs that are up at each of the entrances. So we're looking to make sure there's no fever, no new cough, no difficulties breathing, and no known exposure to COVID. I've been really impressed with our students that we have about 150 students right now on campus every day, and they're communicating with us really clearly about how they're feeling, and they're staying home when they are not feeling good. So we need to continue that, to stay safe, to stay open. And so just a good thumbs up lets our staff know that they've gone through this process and they're feeling good. If they do a thumbs down, then we'll do some follow-up with them. So all of our hallways, as we've said before, after school and during passing periods, are one way. There are a lot of signage around the building, so students will be able to see exactly how to do that. One of the challenges of Newport High is we are a 2-campus building, and so there will be times when it's inconvenient to walk all the way around a campus to get to class, but we have long enough passing periods to allow for students to take that long way and to go all the way around. And we've been practicing that since we've had the limited in-person, and it's going well. If a student leaves class briefly to go to the bathroom, they can go the direct route so that they're not missing class time. It's just during those times when we have multiple students in the hallway at once. This is probably going to be one of the main changes for students. They're used to Newport High being an open campus and having a lot of freedoms. It's not like that during COVID times. So we have to sign every person out that needs to go to the restroom, if they have to go to the office for any reason. So each teacher has a protocol that they have. And so once students arrive on campus, they stay until they're done with their classes. The one exception, we do have some upperclassmen that have an off-campus period in the middle of the day, and those students have to leave campus because we don't have any common spaces right now. If your student is in that situation and they don't have the transportation to leave, or they don't live close enough to leave to go home, then we can find them another elective. But once they're on campus, they're here. Students cannot leave campus for lunch. There's 3 days a week when they have the ability to go out to lunch if that's a family choice. But while the students are here on campus on their cohort days, they will be in their classrooms. We are not allowing visitors at this time, and we're not allowing things to be dropped off. So it's really important that students are careful in the morning and bring everything that they need for campus. In classrooms, and you got to see kind of how that looks in the video, students will have assigned seats. They will wipe down their desks before leaving. There is 35 square feet between all of the desks. And again, students use hand sanitizer when they enter each classroom. Our HVAC systems are all working well. Air is exchanged multiple times an hour. And luckily for us, we have large classes, large class sizes. So we really have the ability to spread students out. And I think all but 2 classrooms have a sink. So when students want, they can actually wash their hands. And the 2 classrooms that don't have the sinks have a bathroom right across the hall. So we're really encouraging students to wash their hands frequently and use hand sanitizer. Meals look really different this year. So we have gone back and forth about doing a Google form for breakfast and lunch. What we're going to do instead is have meals delivered for in certain areas for those students that want them. And so we're going to try it, but it's something brand new for us. And so this could change. But for now, second period is where they will eat lunch. They can either bring their own lunch or they can eat a school lunch. And all students will have to wash their hands prior to eating, and they will eat at their desk. We ask that they eat their food, but then when they are wanting to talk or socialize at their desk, that they put their mask back on. We are lucky kind of being the last school that's doing this piece of in-person learning, that we have seen that kindergartners all the way through 8th graders can do this safely and stay at their desk. And so we are expecting this to go really well for our high school students. So we also will have free breakfast that students can eat during first period before class starts. And on the way out, for those that want it, there will be dinner and then lunch or meals for the next day. And so that will be available as well. Restrooms are single use. We're asking students to use the closest restroom and then head back directly to class. So we're not using lockers this year. So students will need to have a backpack and be able to bring all of their items to and from school each day. So school supplies, we're asking students bring their backpack, their Chromebook, charger, a binder. We're asking students to bring a water bottle. We do have a few if students need one, but we do not have just the water fountain anymore. Those have been turned off, but we do have the water bottle filling stations available. And so, we're encouraging students to bring their own water bottles, notebooks, calculator if they're in a math class, some kind of writing utensil, and don't forget the mask. So when we dismiss students, we're asking them to use the one-way halls, and this could really determine which door they exit. So we're asking you to pre-plan with your students. When we mail home information, we'll include a map so you can kind of know what the closest exit is for that. Bus pickup will happen in front of the West Campus, and we ask that students keep that 6-foot distancing while they're waiting. And then, typically students that are participating in athletics go right directly to whatever practice they're having. Because there is such a long break in between, we're asking that students either leave campus or they sign in and actually sit in a seat in the library so that we can track them and monitor them. So the student lounge won't be open during that time. The athletes that are waiting, if they need to, will need to be in the library. So if you are not feeling well and you've already started school, we kind of have 2 different protocols. We have our normal symptoms and COVID symptoms, but either way, students need to notify their teacher, and then Mrs. Rich Creek will go to the classroom and she will be able to go through our health protocols. We do have an isolation space available on campus if we suspect anyone might have COVID symptoms. But we also have, students that need a Band-Aid and different things like that. So we have kind of both protocols there. We do have several types of thermometers, and Mrs. Rich Creek has been trained. She has the full kind of protective gear suit and can do that if needed. So she's in the main office, but again, she would come wherever is needed. And then we have backups that are trained. So when you're at home, we ask that you still log on to Zoom, and attendance will be taken during that time. So it's important to be on time and log on. And then really it depends on the class. Some students will stay on for that 10 minutes, and then they'll be asked to stay on the whole time, and they'll just have their normal class, but they'll have it online for that day. And then other times it might be that they check in for that 10 minutes and do an opening activity, and then they're given asynchronous or independent work to do. So that will be really class by class. It could be depending on the unit or the activity that they're doing. Some activities work well to have students both in the classroom and on Zoom, and some are more challenging with technology. So, but that's kind of the general layout for those days. And then Wednesdays will be really similar with being just asynchronous work. So the next steps, we've started this process, I think 3 times now, but we will finish assigning students cohort days. The first thing that we do is look at sibling days and look at requests from back in August. We've also had a few families call in and have requested a particular A or B day. And then we'll also look at our K-8 transportation. The transportation is really complicated with all of the COVID safety protocols and assigned seating. And so we'll look at that to try to accommodate that as well. Our goal is to get, even numbers of students in each class. We're looking at between 12 and 18 students per class. And so we will spend a lot of time trying to cohort and make sure that we have even numbers in classes, so that the A and B numbers are as close as we can to being half of the class. Once we do that, we will mail home information. So it will include cohort days. It will include, the term for schedules, which side of the campus they should enter. So all that kind of stuff will be sent home. We'll also include information about our orientation. So April 8th and 9th will be our orientation for students. That will be for freshmen and new students. So we'll give information about how that works when we mail all that stuff home. So this is the opportunity now to ask questions. I'm sure that there's a lot of them since we've been out of school for so long. So we will open it up. You can either unmic or you can write something in the chat, and we'll see what we can do to answer. All right, not hearing one. What we will do is later tonight we have another parent meeting at 6:30 that we'll have translated. After that meeting is done, we will be sending out the survey for any families that want to stay in the CDL model, and we will post the video. But otherwise, you're welcome to go. If you have individual questions, you're welcome to stay. So let's see, several questions coming in now. If a student is assigned one schedule, can we change? So are you talking about their actual 4 periods that they have class, or are you talking about the difference between coming hybrid or staying CDL? Can you? I don't know, Ty, if you can unmute or write about that. So if they have Monday, Thursday, can we change to Tuesday, Friday? Good question. So we can do some changes depending on transportation and our class size. We definitely will do the best that we can to accommodate. if you have a change from the beginning of the year, we ask that you call the office and let the office know your preference so that we can try to do it before we have everyone scheduled. As far as cohorting goes, if we have to make a change, we have to do it at the beginning of the week. So, you know, if a change has to be made, you would finish out that week and then change. But yeah, please definitely, you know, let us know that. Students have 4 periods, so our schedule is not changing at all. They'll still have 4 periods that they go to. They're still 80 minutes long. Yes, so students will get them by mail. If everything goes well, we're hoping to have the CDL schedule built by this Friday, and then start getting out information to families by Wednesday, the 31st. So that's our goal. So you should be receiving them at the end of that week. So you have a full week to contact the counseling center if you have questions about schedules. Most of our student schedules are similar, term 3 to 4. There are some differences depending on what classes students have, but one of the questions in there is the difference between the 4 days a week and the cohort and the hybrid. So yes, if your student is currently coming 4 days a week for AM PM, that program is ending on April 6th. That's a Tuesday, and we will no longer have that program. And we will be moving to the district-wide hybrid program, which is what our K-8 students are participating in. So we will be matching them. The limited in-person that we've been able to do 4 days a week is only available if we stay in comprehensive distance learning. So it's not one of the options. So let's see. Yes, so if your student has an off campus, so it can't just be kind of an open period, it has to be assigned off campus, then they would leave and then come back, and they would go through the same protocol when they come back, as far as you know, making sure that they do the hand sanitizer and everything like that. So one of the questions has to do, where can we access the form for continuing with comprehensive distance learning? I will be putting that on the website and sending it out by Remind, but I wanted to have this parent meeting first to make sure that if people had questions, they could answer it before sending out the link. The form is only required if you're not coming to in person. So we will get that out to families tonight. So we don't have a 0 period band at all right now. Symphonic band will stay the same period it is now. I think that's 3rd period. So we don't offer jazz band this year. That will come back next year. But right now, symphonic band is 3rd. So there's a question about what happens if you know, say that a student is sick and has to stay home, or they have an appointment. What they would do is log on just like everyone else for that first 10 minutes. And then really it depends on what that class is doing that day. So it might just be that 10 minutes and then a asynchronous activity, or it could be the whole period. So I don't really know until they're in the class. Each class is a little bit different. But yes, we want students to stay home if they're sick, and we just ask if they can, if they're feeling up to it, that they log on at the beginning of that period. I think the other advantage that we have going hybrid is that your student will be able to communicate directly with the teacher, you know, when they are in school, and to be able to, you know, if there's upcoming appointments or things, be able to communicate that so there's a plan. And that's been something that's been really challenging with distance learning. Yes, so Daniela, the question about 2 days a week in person, they will do 2 days a week online, with being the beginning of each period being synchronous. So they all have to log on at the beginning. And then 1 day a week, Wednesdays, will stay asynchronous, where students can do the work at any time. But those 2 days when they're not home, so if I'm a cohort A and I come on Monday and Thursday, it's my responsibility on Tuesday and Friday to do the same schedule. I still log on at 9 a.m. for my first period class, and I may stay the whole 80 minutes, or I may stay that 10-minute time, and then the teacher may have us go work independently or in small groups. Thank you everyone for coming. Again, we're going to stay on because we're using the same link. So if there's any questions after most of you have gone, we will be here. But thank you. We are so excited to see your students and to get back into educating in person.
Thank you.
So the question about cheer is kind of complicated because it's considered a contact sport, and yet we live on the Oregon coast, so practicing outside is challenging. The goal is to do tryouts in April, and tryouts would happen for 8th grade through current seniors. And then if cheer is allowed to kind of move forward, then the high school age, that 9th through 12th graders, would cheer during basketball season, which is our last season. And if we're not able to cheer for that season, then that group that's selected would continue on and be practicing and preparing for next year. So cheer is not happening for football season, but we will be moving forward with cheer, hopefully for basketball season. Fingers crossed that we get that opportunity.
All right, am I good to share?
You are good to share. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Raina Matson. I'm the principal at Newport High School, and I am sharing in the chat the English version of this presentation. We went over the English version at 5:30, but there's several English speakers on, so you can click on that and follow along. We have Newport High School alumni and current employee Hugo Montalvo, who will be supporting us through our translation tonight.
Okay. So, bienvenidos de nuevo, estudiantes de Newport High. Información importante. So, cambio es un constante y ha sido este año durante el largo año este. So, clases limitadas en persona terminarán el 6 de abril. So, como si tiene estudiantes ahorita viniendo 4 días en la mañana, y eso se va a cambiar y se terminará el 6 de abril. Y el tercer periodo de calificaciones se terminará el 9 de abril. El cuarto periodo de calificaciones iniciaría el 12 de abril y terminaría el 15 de junio. El grupo A comenzará en personas del 12 de abril y el grupo B comienza en persona el 13 de abril. Se mantendrá el mismo horario de campana de las 9 de la mañana a las 3:20 p.m. Hay opciones educativas, asumiendo que todos regresarán a la escuela en persona a menos que tengan que aprendizaje a distancia integral. Y eso se necesitará, si usted quiere ingresar su hijo, su estudiante en eso, ellos pueden encontrar un formulario que vamos a compartir después de la junta. o hay estudiantes que están haciendo Edman. Y eso es todo en línea, que están haciendo sus clases en línea. So, el aprendizaje integral a distancia, el CDL, durante híbrido, asignada a un programa para todo el distrito. NHS sigue siendo la escuela en casa. Maestros de las escuelas secundarias de Walport, Taft, Toledo y Newport. So, hay opciones limitadas. El horario de la campana ajustado para cumplir con las 4 escuelas secundarias del área. Significa que a lo mejor tendremos unos maestros de Walport, de Taft o de Toledo enseñando una escuela o una clase a sus alumnos. Eso significa que a lo mejor un estudiante está tomando una clase en Walport, pero es por línea, pero el estudiante lo está viendo. Y después tenemos nuestros programas como el SPED y el ESOL. Los administradores de ese caso se quedarán con la escuela de origen. Como vemos, tenemos aquí el formulario para si gustaría ingresar su hijo en eso, en la aprendizaje integral a distancia. Y tendremos una reunión de padres de la semana del 5 de abril, si quieren más información del aprendizaje integral a distancia. Aquí hay un video, les vamos a enseñar. So, este es un video de los protocolos que vamos a tener ahorita como estamos abriendo nuestras escuelas y los niños van a regresar. So, este es un video de cómo vamos a hacer esto.
Welcome back, Cubs. We're glad to have you back. We need to learn how to do it safely.
When you get to school, here's how you enter. Enter your assigned door. They will be mailed to students. Complete self-screening at home. Use hand sanitizer. Stay 6 feet apart. Head directly to class. Masks, face coverings must be worn. There are no lockers this year. Only bring what you need.
Know the symptoms of the coronavirus. Use this helpful guide for when to stay home. Stay home if you are sick and log on to your classes virtually if you are able. Have you or anyone in your home or community living space been diagnosed with COVID-19, tested and are waiting for results of COVID-19? Been in close contact 6 feet or closer for at least 15 minutes with anyone diagnosed with COVID-19? Been asked to self-isolate or quarantine by a medical professional or a local public health? In the past 72 hours, have you or anyone in your home or community living space had any of these primary symptoms of concern? A new persistent cough illness, unless it's chronic, fever of 100.4 or greater, a sudden onset of loss of taste or smell, chills, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, again, unless it's chronic.
When walking in the building, all halls are one way before and after school and during passing periods. Follow the arrows on the floor. If you are in the hallway during class, please stay on the right side of the hall. Masks must be worn at all times. Maintain social distancing by staying 6 feet apart.
Each teacher will review their classroom procedures with you. When you enter the classroom, use hand sanitizer and go directly to your desk. Stay at your desk unless directed by the teacher. At the end of class, the teacher will direct you to sanitize your desk before leaving the classroom.
Only one student may leave the classroom at a time. Students should use the nearest bathroom. All bathrooms are single use. Wait your turn or move to the next bathroom.
Newport High School is a closed campus for the school year. That means once you arrive on campus, you are here until your last class is complete. School breakfast and lunch will be provided free of charge to all students. Breakfast and lunch will be eaten in their respective classrooms. Students may bring their own breakfast and lunch. Following all safety protocols, no visitors or deliveries are allowed. Parents are not allowed to deliver food to the school. Students may order school lunch during breakfast. If students arrive late, they will order lunch at check-in. Only drinks in reusable containers with a secure lid will be allowed. Students are encouraged to bring their own water bottles. Face coverings can be removed to eat or drink when students are sitting at their own desk or table. All students will sanitize their hands before they eat. You may not share food or drinks.
All right, Cubs, you've seen the video. Now you know how to do it safely. We look forward to getting you back here as soon as possible.
Ok. So, la transportación. So, el autobús llega entre las 8:40 y las 8:55 de la mañana. So, como ven aquí, la zona de baja del autobús está en el oeste del campus y la zona de recogida del autobús está en el West Campus. Llegando a la escuela y entrando en el edificio. El personal lo recibirá en la puerta para hacer una pantalla visual y asegurarse de que tengan cubrebocas. Dale al miembro de la persona un pulgar hacia arriba que te has hecho una prueba de detección en casa y no tienes síntomas de COVID. Desinfecta tus manos. Observe que hay una bomba de pie. Use sus cubrebocas. Mantenga una distancia de 6 pies y continúe hacia su clase siguiendo el pasillo de un solo sentido. ¿Cómo usar un cubreboca? Se usa sobre la nariz y la boca. Ajustado al rostro, 2 capas. Para nomás clarificar, no quieren una... no es como hay unos cubrebocas que se meten en el cuello y se pueden nomás subir. La escuela no quiere que se usen eso, quiere que se usen unas máscaras así como estamos viendo aquí en la pantalla, en la foto. Debe usarse en todo el momento en el campus y también se tiene que usar todo el momento. Se le proporcionará un cubrebocas si no tiene uno al llegar. Entrada a diario. Preguntas de evaluación sobre sus síntomas. Que no tengan fiebre, sin tos nuevas, sin dificultades para respirar, que no tengan exposición conocida al COVID. Nuestros pasillos ahora son una dirección en los pasillos. Antes de la escuela, después de la escuela y durante el cambio de periodos. Durante el trámite de ir a una clase a otra clase, tienes que seguir las líneas y no puedes regresarte el mismo camino que viniste. La escuela cerrada. Una vez que los estudiantes lleguen a la escuela, se quedan hasta completar sus clases. Significa que cuando un estudiante llegue, no puede salir, ya no puede salir como si se quiere ir, tiene que firmar algo y se puede ir, pero no puede salir sin algo, sin una nota. La excepción son estudiantes que están tomando sus clases en línea. Los estudiantes no pueden salir del campus para el almuerzo, se tienen que quedar en un salón y esto va a ser durante esto va a pasar después del periodo 2. Los estudiantes van a tener que almorzar en ese salón. No hay visitantes y no se pueden dejar cosas para los estudiantes, como si se les olvidó algo. La escuela como si se les olvidó su cargador, la escuela tiene cargadores para las computadoras. No traiga cosas para los estudiantes. Los salones. Los estudiantes tendrán asientos asignados. Los estudiantes limpiarán su escritorio, mesa antes de irse. Los estudiantes tienen un espacio de 35 pies cuadrados a su alrededor. Los estudiantes usarán desinfectante de manos al ingresar cada salón de clase. Todos los sistemas HVAC funcionan bien. El aire se intercambia 4 veces por hora. Casi todos los salones de clase tienen un lavamanos. Los 2 salones sin lavamanos usarán los baños al otro lado del pasillo. Comidas, desayuno y almuerzo en el salón de clase. So, la escuela va a tener desayuno y almuerzo y cena gratuito. Y ellos comerán en el salón, como vemos las fotos, y queremos que ellos se laven las manos para mantener la distancia y también hacer limpios con lavarse las manos antes de comer, etcétera, etcétera. Los baños serán uso único. Si un baño está ocupado, trata de buscar otro baño o espérate a que salga alguien. Los estudiantes usarán los baños más cercanos. So, no hay casilleros. Los estudiantes necesitarán una mochila para traer todas sus computadoras, sus lápices, etcétera. So, los útiles que nosotros queremos que ellos traigan a la escuela es una mochila, su Chromebook completamente cargado, por favor, su cargador, una carpeta, una botella de agua, porque ahora a donde llenas agua no sirve para que si no tienes una botella. So, nosotros tratamos de conseguir botellas para los niños, pero estaría bien si el alumno trajera una botella de agua. Y hay estaciones de llenado de botellas de agua disponible en la escuela. Un cuaderno, una calculadora si está en una clase de matemáticas, utensilios de escritura y cubrebocas. Despido de estudiantes. So, cuando los estudiantes ya se están yendo, una dirección en los pasillos. So, eso sigue lo mismo. Hay nomás una dirección en los pasillos. Por favor, planee antes a dónde recogerá a su estudiante. So, nosotros cuando vamos a mandar en el correo, vamos a mandar un mapa y ahí trate de planear a dónde su estudiante va a salir, de cuál puerta, para que ustedes se puedan parquear y no tengan que andar dando vueltas por la escuela. También eso va para el uso de autobús, que queremos que los estudiantes sepan a dónde van y se mantengan también en mente los 6 pies de distancia. Y los estudiantes que participarán en deportes no se van a poder quedar en la escuela. En vez, ellos tienen que reportarse a la librería. Si gustarían quedarse hasta que su práctica empiece, deberían entrar a la librería y firmar que ellos están ahí. Y nomás eso es para que nosotros vamos, si hay alguien se enferma de COVID, podemos ver quién estaba allí y quién estuvo alrededor de ellos. Si no se sienten bien, pueden ver a la señora Rich Creek en la oficina principal y ella ya está certificada para los síntomas de COVID, qué hacer durante eso. Y tenemos si alguien se ve que tiene los síntomas, tenemos un salón a donde ellos pueden estar aislados después de todos los estudiantes. Y también pueden ir a verles si tienen síntomas normales o se cortaron o les duele un pie, etcétera, etcétera. Los estudiantes en casa, ¿qué van a hacer? Ellos van a iniciar su sesión en Zoom cuando empiece la clase. El maestro tomará la asistencia y después de 10 minutos el maestro se les pedirá a los estudiantes que permanezcan en el salón o los estudiantes completarán el trabajo por sí mismo, asincrónico. Dependiendo en qué tipo de clase estás, como si el maestro nomás quiere que estés ahí los 10 minutos para hacer que estás ahí y estás activo en la clase. Los próximos pasos serían asignar estudiantes a grupo A o B. Observar a los hermanos y los solicitudes de agosto. Transporte del kindergarten hasta el 8º grado. Enviaremos por correo a su casa cuál grupo su estudiante estará, si estará en el grupo A o estará en el grupo B. El horario del 4 periodo de calificaciones, también mandaríamos eso. Orientación. El 8 y el 9 de abril se enviará más información a su casa para los estudiantes de primer año y los estudiantes estudiantes nuevos. ¿Preguntas?
We'd love to answer questions if anyone has anything.
Si tienen preguntas, también las pueden mensajear aquí en nuestro chat. Si no quieren hablar, con gusto se las contestamos.
So we'll stay on for a few minutes, but if there's no other questions, you are welcome to go. I will be sending out the link for the comprehensive distance learning for anyone who wants that option later tonight. But thank you all for coming.
So someone's asking, Reina, if also for the special needs kids, will they also come back?
Yes.
So sí, ellos van a regresar. También los niños especiales también regresarán a la escuela. When will they find out if they're going to be in cohort A or cohort B?
So our goal is to mail the letters by March 31st. So, you know, by the beginning of April, they should have it. That way, if there's any changes that need to happen, they can do that. If they're concerned about which cohort, they're always welcome to call the school. You know, they could let you know, they could call the office and we could get someone, or they could send an email and we can try to accommodate that way as well.
So vamos a tratar de enviarlos al fin de este mes de marzo y van a tratar de llegar, que lleguen la primera semana de abril a su casa. Y si hay un conflicto en que ellos no pueden llegar ese día, ponle si las clases, el grupo A es de lunes a jueves, si hay un conflicto ahí, pueden llamar a la oficina y podemos resolver eso.
Thank you, everyone. We are so excited to have students back in person. Thank you for coming tonight. And if you need anything, please let us know.
Okay, so Sandra has a question and she says that what happens if her daughter starts crying because she's in special needs? They would call her to come pick her up. How would that be now?
It's the same way. Miss Norris will contact her and continue to communicate with her if needed. So yeah, and I think she's already coming a few days a week, so it will just be for longer instead of short periods.
Okay, so será lo mismo y ella la contactará, la maestra de su hija la contactará y será lo mismo por si algo pasa, usted puede venir y sí. Necesito llenar alguna forma. They don't need to sign a form, right? If their kid's staying after school for sports.
No.
No se necesita llenar un formulario por si su estudiante juega deportes. Nomás él necesita ir a la biblioteca de la escuela y firmar que él está ahí y que está en la biblioteca hasta que empiece su práctica.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hugo Montalvo, for presenting tonight, and great job. And we look forward to seeing your students on April 12th.
Gracias por venir a la junta. Estamos muy a gustos y emocionados de ver a sus niños de nuevo en el salón y alrededor de la escuela.
Gracias.
Sí, gracias. So there is no possibility No, they're not going to full time, right? Like 5 days a week anymore.
No, we're not there yet. There's guided like rules from the state. And right now, in order to meet those rules, we can only have half the amount of students in a classroom to meet the safety requirements. And so unless something changes at the state level, we will stay 2 days a week.
Okay. So, no, en este momento no, ahorita nomás estamos tomando la mitad de los estudiantes. So, un grupo va a venir viene nomás, por ejemplo, viene el lunes y jueves, y después el grupo B vendrá el martes y viernes. Pero esos días que están allí van a estar todo el día con nosotros en la escuela. Y después los otros 2 días van a hacerlo por línea.
Okay, thank you. Have a great night.
Gracias por venir. Pasen buenas noches.